Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's episode, yep, we got a package to unbox. All I know about this is that this is a 1980s computer that predates the PS2 standard. Now the PS2 standard is from like 1987, so my guess is an IBM compatible, but regardless of what it is, I'm really excited. So without any further ado, let's open it up. We'll get that one little pesky piece of tape on the last corner. And oh my gosh, that is heavy. Okay, so we got a box within a box here. Okay, so I can already rule out this being an IBM 5150 because this box certainly is not large enough, but I'm just curious now, even more curious as to what this is, because I don't know what could this be? That is everything. That is everything. Okay, so we'll set the big box aside. A 1980s computer, is it? I mean, I assume it's a PC, right? Because he did specifically say pre-PS2. Let's see what this is. Let's do this on three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it looks like we got a desktop. Okay. This is looking a bit too small to be an 80s desktop, so what on earth, what could this be? Alright, well this is definitely looking more like a 90s computer to me. Is this a custom build? Yep, I'm thinking this is a custom build because right there, that sticker, what you can make out of it says mini tower case. At least that's what it appears to say. Alright, so with the computer taken apart here, I can confirm that this is actually a Cyrix 6x86 based machine. Let's see if we can boot this thing up. I'm thinking because it looks like, yeah, I'm thinking this might be a PS2 connector. I mean, this is not a card. This is literally just, you've got these two connectors that run off the back here, and this ribbon cable right here runs from this connector down here. So let me just grab, I've got a PS2 keyboard here, and let's plug it in. And that goes in. That is 100% a PS2 port. So we only got one, so that means you would need to have a serial-based mouse or get a serial to PS2 adapter, which I think I have, by the way. Oh, I do want to look at this, though, because this one connector here was loose, and I bet that's, yep, that's another one of these. So this right here is a 9-pin serial port. And so what you would do is it's supposed to, though it is missing the two little standoffs that you have, you see for this larger parallel connector down here. And so yeah, it acts as an expansion card even though it's not actually in one of the PCI lanes. This just runs to one of the COM ports on the motherboard. And by the way, check out this power supply right here. I mean, this thing looks to be in really good, at least the exterior of it is, it's really shiny, it looks to be really clean and really nice shape. But let's see what other expansion cards we have in here. So it looks like we've got a modem. It looks like we have, yep, that's a sound card, okay. Also of note, it looks like we've got some ISO lanes here as well, right underneath the PCI lanes, and in fact, the modem and the sound card are both plugged in to 2 of the 4 ISO lanes. So, yeah, we have a Trident video card, which has VGA out on the back. So, I mean, yeah, let's go ahead and plug this thing in. I mean, we got RAM, we got a power supply, we got a hard drive, we've got a CD drive. I mean, if this thing doesn't have Windows installed on it, we could install Windows on it. But, oh, and one thing I did notice, if you look at this, the IDE cable is not plugged into the hard drive. I noticed this before, and before I forget, we're going to plug that in. We do have a bit of a mess of cables here. I wonder if it's unplugged for a reason, though. We will find out. This hard drive looks like it's a Maxtor. Yeah, I can't make out what the capacity is, but we'll just, I mean, we'll be able to see it when we turn on the computer. So, okay, let's go ahead, get this thing plugged in, get our PS2 keyboard plugged in, hook it up to the monitor, and let's see if she boots. Alright, so we've got everything hooked up. I've got the keyboard plugged into the PS2 port, and I'm going to use this PS2 to serial adapter to plug the mouse in, but I suspect that the PS2 port on the computer itself is supposed to be used for the mouse. Now, I always thought that even though the connector is the same, that you couldn't use a PS2 keyboard in a PS2 mouse port or vice versa, but it turns out that that actually isn't the case. In some cases. It depends on the computer hardware you have, but you may be able to swap them. In fact, this is the case with the 98 PC. I can plug a keyboard into the PS2 mouse port and it works just fine. And not to mention, there are ports labeled for either or, and you can find these on modern motherboards, but If I had to take a guess, I would say that this PS2 port is only for the mouse. Now you won't be able to tell this by looking at the port itself, because instead of that familiar purple or green color, it's black. Which means that this computer predates the PC99 specification, which really quickly, going on a brief side note here, was essentially an initiative from Intel and Microsoft to make PCs a little more standardized by doing things like color coding the ports on the back. The other huge giveaway is that this computer has an AT connector on the back. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any AT keyboard, so if this PS2 port only works with the mouse, we're essentially out of luck. We're not going to be able to boot this thing up and use it. Anyways, with all that aside, let's go ahead and flick the power switch on the front and see if this thing powers on. We got a fan, we got some beeps. Do we have a display? At the moment, we do not have a display, and the keyboard is not doing anything. Like, it's not, it's acting like it's not plugged in, because normally you can press caps lock and num lock and it will light up. Okay, let's power it off. I think it might be giving us a postcode. Let's turn this on and listen. Okay, so it's 4 rapid beeps. Alright, so if you look right there on the motherboard, that is an Award BIOS chip. Now, Award was purchased by Phoenix at some point. Acquired in 1998 is when they purchased Award. Now, I looked up the Award BIOS beep code listing, and there's this really interesting article from LifeWire, which literally just says, it's got like 3 things listed here, and then it says any other beep pattern code means that you have some kind of memory problem. And I think that's a little bit too vague, because they list 3 things here. 1 long beep and 3 short beeps, 1 high-pitched beep and 1 low-pitched beep repeating, and 1 high-pitched beep repeating. There were 4 beeps, so when it says repeating, I would think that means like non-stop repeating. I mean, maybe not. Maybe what we just heard was 1 high-pitched beep repeating, which says it means the CPU is overheating. But then if you go by the Phoenix BIOS codes, 4 beeps means unconfirmed beep code. Again, these are really great descriptions here. Reseat RAM chips or replace RAM chips as a possible solution. Alright, so to get the RAM out, we had to get the power supply out so that I could actually see what I was doing. And to get the power supply out, we had to get the CD drive out. So yeah, this kind of spiraled into a bit of a mess. But I was able to get the RAM out, reseat it, and, well, got those same 4 post beeps, and we still have the amber light on the monitor. Okay, we'll turn it off here. Maybe the video card is just screwed up. Yeah, this is always the fun with dealing with vintage computers, especially when you can't pinpoint exactly what the post beep means. So, but let's just take out the video card here. Here is our video card of choice for the day. So let's go ahead and pop that into the same, I almost said ISOBay, PCI lane. Oh my gosh, the amount of, I'm just removing these. Oh, look at that. This cable is not even plugged in. And okay, these will clear out some space for us here. So we'll just get these over here. So those are for the, just remove this one from the hard drive. So okay, so that clears up like a bunch of space here, so you can actually like see. And she's in. Okay. Oh, and we got an output. We got a signal. So it was the video card. Check that out. Heck yes. Oh my gosh, that is exciting. So yeah, it is indeed an Award BIOS, and it's not going to be able to detect any peripherals or anything because we don't have anything plugged in. Alright, so we're back. We've got the computer set up, and a fair amount of stuff has happened since the last clip. One of the major things I did is I ended up taking out the power supply again after I had put it back in the case because I thought I was done. But then I got the idea, I was like, you know what, I should probably, because it looked like, when I looked in the fan on the side of the power supply, there was a lot of dust in there. And so I said, alright, I'll just take the power supply back out. I ended up taking it apart to clean the inside of it, which was good because it was full of dust. Cleaned out the interior while I was at it, and well, here we are. And yeah, by the way, if you didn't really notice before, the exterior, the case here, is definitely like rusted. There's parts on the bottom here. Alright, we got the power plugged in, got the display, the keyboard and mouse. See what happens. Okay. There we go. So yeah, it's working. Okay, so it's spitting out a keyboard error. So let's go ahead and flick it off here and try to plug the keyboard into the PS2 to serial adapter. Keyboard error, press F1 to continue. Yeah, this is the classic BIOS error message. I love that. Well, I think we have reached a bit of an impasse because I mean, I can't press F1 to continue or delete to enter setup on this keyboard. And as I've said, I do not have a serial-based keyboard that we could use with this. Yeah, my guess is that PS2 connector on the back is for a mouse only. That's what happens, my friends. That's just the way things go on this channel. So yeah, this was definitely unexpected. I mean, like I said at the beginning, I thought this was going to be like an 80s computer, pre-1987. It ends up being a mid-90s computer, which is still awesome. I mean, hey, it was donated to me. I do really appreciate it. You guys definitely may be seeing this computer again on the channel at some point, who knows? But for now, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's video. So if you guys enjoyed this one, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. And as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.